You know, people miss you. I still get messages about you. What happened to that dude?
Well, hey, I'm here. I'm alive. I'll be here for a limited time only. And
We'll have you on Monday. Will you be here till Monday?
listen, I kind of omit Mondays. It's against my religion.
We're not even going to start with religion
It's
and
my
you.
religion. I don't do Mondays.
But next time you come, we'll be able to have you for more than a day, for more than 20 minutes, maybe. That was a good spin. I enjoyed that.
Oh, amen. Cough.
I'm gonna leave. Because I usually omit the music portion on Mixcloud, but I'm gonna go ahead and upload that because
Don't upload that.
what a lot of people liked it.
Prove it.
Tayla, I know that's not you. Who's in the studio with you?
That don't count.
It does
That
count.
does not count. That's like 2 emails from friends. One's probably from your dad. Like I know that the one from your dad don't count. You can use like
Okay, what if it's my uncle, not my dad?
that's the same thing. That's like dad light.
Lord have mercy. It's good to see you, DJ Black Label.
All right. Well, I'm going to. Ain't nothing open for breakfast, is it? I'm
Nah.
not going to Dunkin' Donuts. What time is it?
It is almost 6 o'clock. You know who we have for a guest? You should stay. We have an awesome guest today.
You know what? Crazy thing. I have a radio, right? I'm gonna go turn it on, and I'm gonna be with you in spirit.
Okay, so for those who are tuning in, we have speech from Arrested Development calling in at 6. I'm really excited for that. I know usually at 5:30 we go ahead and switch over to some news, but DJ Black Label's here, and it's not often that we get to hear him squeaky, whatever whatever it is. We don't get to hear him play often, and I do miss you playing. I do. So I'm glad you stopped by. I'm glad we had a moment of your time. We appreciate you.
Hey, this is 5 in the morning. Nobody stops by at 5 in the morning. You knew I was.
Why you gotta snitch?
There's very minimal reasons anybody stops by anywhere at 5 in the morning.
You crazy. Reggie B stops by in the morning.
Listen, either you getting your back door kicked in or you getting your back door kicked in. One of the two. It's gonna be your side dude, your boyfriend, or the police. The end goal is the same.
Kick in, she back out.
Nobody's stopping by at 5 in the morning. You knew I was coming Tuesday.
Yesterday. Because you were supposed to come yesterday.
No, it was Tuesday, but you had Superintendent Gross?
Yes, Gross.
Gross.
Yeah, Superintendent Gross.
Superintendent Gross.
Yes.
So yeah, we canceled on that one because I'm not familiar on what's happening in Boston. I know that y'all are being gentrified at a rapid rate. They pretty much rebuilt the bottom end of Blue Hill, you know. All I'm saying.
Oh my gosh. And you know, what are those projects called that are being refaced? Malnea Cast projects. They're being complete. They look beautiful.
They did the little grocery store over there too, the Spanish
Tropicals.
Yeah, Tropicals.
They are so expensive.
I thought that was Whole Foods. Like I rolled past, I'm like, wait a minute, this didn't used to be here. It used to be a little strip club right here on this corner.
It's still there. It's
but the strip club can stay.
Yeah.
All right. So the grocery store was the problem.
No, you want to know what the problem is? The problem is that we have the BRA, the Boston Redevelopment Authority, that has all of this land that it's been acquiring over many years. And now that, you know, we have certain players and figures in the game, they can now go ahead with their plan that has been in motion for many years.
And BRA, what did they tell y'all that stood for?
The Boston Redevelopment Authority.
Yeah, Blacks Removal Association.
Oh,
yeah, Blacks Removal Association. Listen, call a spade a spade.
The Black Removal Association. Somebody's gonna steal that, and that's gonna be the new hashtag.
I know it's fine. You know,
it might be me.
I don't even want credit for it. It's fine. Just take it as a gift.
Lord have mercy. I don't know how. Did you just come up with that?
Yep, the Black Relocation Association.
I like the Black Hold on, can I get you saying that?
And Ninja's out since been pimping.
I missed you, Black
Label. Well, call a spade. Listen, look around. Why would a commuter rail need to pop up anywhere near that?
Four Corners. Yep. I know that's right. Somebody better preach.
Ain't nobody working at B&D's furniture over here.
Baby daddies.
Ain't nobody coming over here to work at B&D's furniture.
I went there for the first time yesterday. It's like the dollar store on fleek.
That's what it is. It's like a steroided up dollar store. They got like I bought a bed from there. Come to think of the bed in my house is from B&D's.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it comfortable?
It's straight.
It was worth it.
I didn't buy a mattress from. I lied. I did buy a mattress from there.
Hey, see?
Yeah, that mattress.
Baby daddies. I've been naming it baby daddies for the longest though. Who else would have named BD? What? I
don't know. What you ask me?
What that stand for? I just named it baby daddies.
Sure, let's go with that.
We will. Have you? No, in all seriousness though. So from how long has it been since you left?
I left.
You moved
Christmas Eve of 2014.
So the beginning of 2015. So it's been a year since you've been gone.
Yeah.
Can you really notice? Is it that big of a difference?
It's a huge difference. Like, okay, so cost of living is significantly cheaper. I got 3 floors, a finished basement, a closed-in patio, and I sit on 2 acres, and I pay $870 a month.
What?
I pay $870.
How far are you from Atlanta, though? How far are you from the city?
I'm in Atlanta. I'm about 15 driving minutes out of the city.
So you live in Milton, like
Southside. Go down on 675 Ellenwood Stockbridge.
No, I mean like as far as distance is concerned, you are to Boston.
Yeah. I'd be technically Milton. Man, I wouldn't even go. I wouldn't say it's let's call it Milton. Or if you really want to go out, what's
Dedham?
Dedham, thank you. I'd say about Dedham. But it's 15 drive minutes from the city. But here's the thing.
$875 a month.
$870.
He said, don't give me 5 more.
$870. I mean, the cost of living is so much cheaper, and then like there's always something to do in Atlanta. There's never not anything to do. If it's a weekend, it don't even have to be a weekend. Thursday through Monday officially counts as the weekend in Atlanta. It's literally Thursday through Monday. The weekend starts Thursday through Monday. Always something to do.
Would you suggest Bostonians move to Atlanta?
I would suggest Bostonians move anywhere other than Boston. Like if you're not.
What about education? Because we heard the South.
Y'all education system is better, hands down. Y'all education system is better. Like theirs isn't terrible, but I mean at the same token, what you heard is not all true, but it ain't all false either. Like the education system down there. No, we're not at the top tier of anything. Y'all generally have a better education system, but college won't set your children back 10 years on their credit trying to go through and get through. We got like a lot of HBCUs in Atlanta. There's a bunch of schools in Atlanta as well, because Atlanta's not as big as you think, but not as small as it seems. So y'all education system is hands down better. No argument, but I mean, it's not like you can't get a quality education just because you live in Atlanta. Like, no, we're not teaching everybody to be young thugs. No, don't just raise a bunch of rappers. That's not what happens. But
as a teacher, because you were a teacher here in Boston, so those that are just now tuning in, DJ Black Label was a DJ here on the Wake Up with Tayla Andre show. He moved out of state. That's why we no longer have the pleasure of listening to him every rising. But he was playing today. And we're just having a quick conversation about the difference between him living here in Boston versus him living in Atlanta. And we've noticed a huge difference. So we have this one caller. His nickname is Mr. Negative, aka Mr. Nubian. And he's currently on the line right now. Good rising, Mr. Nubian. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was just going to say, for that advice for people of African descent to move to Atlanta, if you are a righteous brother, you want to be on the outskirts, because Atlanta is the black San Francisco. I went down there. I love Magic City, but after that was done, I had to get out of there. I never seen so many fatty boys in my life. I live on the outskirts, but anyone who wants to go down there, tell them stay out of Atlanta. You want to be on the outskirts.
Thank you.
As far as Savannah.
That's not even Atlanta. Like, you're on the outskirts of Georgia. If you're in Savannah, Savannah is 2 hours from South Carolina. Savannah sits on the coast. So yeah, you real far.
So the conscious brother is perfect. Like, the women are gorgeous, and there's not like a batty boy within a 10-mile radius of that area.
There's not a what?
A batik or a gay person.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, he got a point. Like, there is a lot of like gay people in Atlanta. Like, that's gay people Mecca, literally.
How can you be gay in the finest women capital? Atlanta has, I would say, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's very rare you see anything below an 8. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, if you ever Boston, it was a culture shock. And it was all natural. It wasn't like LA. Like, by far, it was a beautiful, my eyes didn't shut until I got back on the plane.
And those women aren't just gorgeous. They're gorgeous and intelligent. Like, bodies on fleek.
Now, the only thing that killed me down there is strippers believe they're professional women. I'm like, sorry, just because you have a car, you're not a professional. But the real true professionals, like the doctors and lawyers, I was impressed. But ironically, it's like they don't own businesses. Like, they all work for white folks. I'm like, if you guys have like 2,000 MBAs in this neck of the woods, why is it you guys only have like 6 or 7 law firms? That makes no sense. Like, I don't get it.
Well, where did you go?
What do you mean?
Well, where did you go? Because finding black business in Atlanta, it depends on where you go.
Oh, the location.
Yeah, like Atlanta is not as small as it seems, but not as big as it gives off. Like, you have to actually be in the right places to find where these people own businesses, because like I said, there's a lot of HBCUs in Atlanta and very near to Atlanta, because Alabama's right there next to
door.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, it depends on where you are at trying to find these businesses. There's a lot of black owned professions, and we're not talking about like barbershops and comfort food restaurants. Like, we're talking about law firms, doctors' offices, who else? Engineers, architects. Like, there are a lot of black owned, black operated firms. It just depends on where you're going to look for them.
We have another caller on the line very quickly before we get speech on the line. Good Rising Caller, you're live.
How are you?
Super fantastic. How are you?
All righty. Good to hear you, Black Label.
Thank you, sir.
I'm all right. As soon as you left, man, Big D jumped ship, man. He was gone, man.
It's cold world out there.
Yeah, but I tell you though, Tayla holding it down, man. She is really good, man. She is really good. She's doing an excellent job. We all love her, man. She's doing a wonderful, wonderful job.
Thank you, darling. Black Label may not agree with you, but
Tayla has came a long way, man. So I just wanted to give you guys some love. Thank you, guys.
All right, appreciate it, man. Take care.
Cool. Lord of mercy. Well, I'm glad you're here, Black Label.
I try to be.
I'm glad you're here. Appreciate you. We have one more caller on the line. Good rising, good rising. You're live.
You know I had to call. I sure miss you, Black Label. She said, yeah, on the whole radio station. She's number 1, honey.
Oh, you miss Black Label like I miss Black Label.
So I do miss hearing that voice and miss hearing him play that music. And he talk about that breakfast food. They named that breakfast after him, and he also eat.
Yes, man. The Black Label special.
Do they still have that?
They do. People still ask for it.
No,
Hey, I sure miss him, but like that man said, Tail come a long way. She hold it down. She's number 1 on the whole radio station. She got it going on, honey. If we didn't have her, we wouldn't know half the stuff we know. I just want to say that.
Thank you, baby. I got a message over here that says, yo, tell Black Label he has a sexy ass voice.
All right, I'm going home. Y'all be safe. Be blessed.
I missed that voice, and it even got deeper. Since he left, it changed a little bit. He didn't go up. But down there in Atlanta, there's too many down. Everybody I know, they keep coming back up here. They say too many gay men. They're all undercover. Even the ones that ain't supposed to be gay, they bisexual. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Baby, I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you have an awesome day today. Whoo, Black Label, you got the women going crazy.
Not true.
You got the women going crazy. She said his voice got deep. It's like he grew up.
I just grew a beard.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
yeah. It is. It's super long.
Did you just hang up on somebody?
No, I didn't hang up on anybody. Thank you, baby. I love and appreciate you. I hope you have an awesome day today. We have another caller on the line. Good rising, good rising.
Hello, this is Speech.
Oh, hello. Good rising, Speech. My brother, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm super fantastic. You just gonna slide up out of here, Black Label?
Yes.
You're gonna slide up out of here? You're not gonna stay for the interview? Because he's from Atlanta. You from Atlanta. Y'all might be able to vibe, you know.
Is that like literally the thinking behind that?
No,
like,
no, not at all.
saying-
Not at all. For those who don't know, stage name Speech is a musician. You guys know him from Arrested Development. Take me to another place. Take me to another
Who sings
land.
that again?
Arrested Development.
Yeah, let's keep it that way.
Be quiet. Speech, is great to have you on air with us. How are you? How's Atlanta? We were just getting a synopsis of the living difference between Massachusetts and the South, and you guys are living good.
Yeah, Atlanta's nice. I really like it. It's been known for affordable living and better yard space and all types of stuff for a long time. So yeah, I like it. I moved here from Milwaukee.
I'm not familiar with that. With Milwaukee. No, I'm not. I've never been there.
It's in Wisconsin.
West, it's Wisconsin. It's nice. It's pretty nice city.
Amazing. So you guys have you have some new projects coming out, some new music. Could you tell us a little bit, what have you been doing? Because it's been a while since the last time I seen you. You were here in Boston, Washington Park. You guys played. I was there. I was a little girl, but that was the last time I personally. Yeah. Do you remember that?
Not much changed.
I know I've been to Boston millions of times, but I don't remember that particular show. But I love Boston. I became a Christian in 1996, and so after that, I used to go to Boston a lot and speak and preach and perform, and of course, with Arrested Development, we would go. But a lot of times I go by myself. So yeah, I've been to Boston numerous times.
Well, we would love and appreciate it if you came back. Do you plan on coming back?
Honestly, we always would love to come there. It's a matter of, trying to find the right, situation and to get us there. We're a pretty big group. So for hip hop, at least, it's a lot of times tough for promoters to bring us to various places. It just depends. So anyway, long story short, we'd love to come there. I love Boston. I'd definitely love to get up in there and do some shows. Our website is adtheband.com. So for anybody that wants to know what we're up to and stuff like that, as far as touring, you can go to our website and peep out our dates, and we'll let you know when we're coming. So, yeah.
And one more time, that's adtheband.com.
Exactly. Yeah, there was a TV show, Arrested Development, that came out on Fox, and we got into a little lawsuit situation with them because they came out after us and used the name. And so anyway, we just decided to change the website name to AD the Band because they had gotten the name ArrestedDevelopment.com. So yeah, that's the name of our website, is AD the Band.
AD the Band. So if you don't mind, I'd like to play Out to the World for the listeners.
Black History Month, 2 months ago. And that's one of the tracks from one of the albums. The album is called This Was Never Home. And it's produced by KO and a brother named D Focus and myself. And so it's a really, really great song. It's a peace song. I love it. And it's very anthemic.
Love is in the air tonight.
Hey, yay, yay, yay. Speech, that was amazing.
Thank you. Big song.
It was huge. I love it. I love how you have a little dance hall in there. It's just a little snippet in the middle of the song, but just a little snippet. I'm feeling it though. So you guys are still conscious. You guys are still live. You guys are still putting out good music.
Yeah, that's what we do. I mean, it's our passion. And when we first started the group back in 1987, the reason we started it was to try to change the state of arrested development in the Black community worldwide too. And that's the reason we wanted to do music, or at least as a professional group. You know, we love music anyway, but we wanted to do it as a professional group for that reason.
So hold on, let's go back a little bit. You said the state of arrested development in the Black community. What does that mean, and what is the meaning of arrested development?
Halted growth is the definition, and basically in the Black community, we've taken a huge detour, and that was not by our own fault, but basically during this time of the transatlantic slave trade and all of that, we've been set back basically at least 200 and odd years, and maybe almost 400 years as far as our progress. And that's across the world, really. I mean, it had an effect everywhere throughout the world. And so all of us in the Black community have been trying to, you know, overcome that huge hurdle and moving forward. It's been very victorious in some ways, and in other things we're still, you know, striving. So this music is like soundtrack music for that strive, for that goal.
And you guys are still progressing on that, and I love the music. I want to just play a little bit. I need to play this again because I really out to the world. When was this released, and can we play this on a regular basis after this conversation, after today's interview?
Yes, definitely. You know, we're doing interviews and wanting people to know that the music is out now. It's ready to be played, and we're independent this time. So the music is like everything. We're putting everything into the music, but we don't have the huge machinery of the record label behind us. So we're doing it through my record label called Vagabond. So please play it, yes.
So you guys have more freedom with this record because you don't have that many restrictions.
We have total freedom and we have total creativity, and that's why, I mean, it's 2 albums, so it's literally, you know, one of them free, so you can just get it free at adtheband.com. That album is called Changing the Narrative, and then that album that you're playing right now is called This Was Never Home. That was out to the world from that album, and that one costs $9.99. So yeah, we have a lot of music that we released because of our creativity and because of our freedom.
I remember when $9.99 is how much the single costs. Now that you can buy a whole album for $9.99.
It's so true. You can get the whole album for free nowadays when people stream and all of that stuff and download. You know, so it's a whole different era from when we first jumped in.
Absolutely, but we support the music, so that $9.99 is nothing to us. Out to the World, featuring Toy Matthews, Arrested Development. We have Speech on the Line, Waking Up with Tayla Andre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. I'm going to go ahead and play this song again because I'm really feeling it.
Thank you.
Hey, you know, I can't sing y'all, but I'm gonna sing this song every rise until y'all get sick of it. Tayla, don't play it no more. Thank you so much, Speech. Thank you so much. We currently have a caller on the line, 617-282-0062. If you want to ask Speech any questions, you have any questions as far as Arrested Development is concerned, you have any questions about anything, take me to another place. Take me. Where's B from Tennessee? 617-282-0062. Good Rising, caller, you live.
Good rising. I wanted to know, can I get 2 albums off Amazon? Because I don't have access to the internet. So if I want to, can I get off the Amazon?
It's on iTunes as well. The
So
album
what?
is called This Was Never Home. And I know you don't have the internet, so I guess iTunes is out the question maybe. But yeah, it's on our website, agtheband.com, and it's also at iTunes under Arrested Development. This Was Never Home.
So, if I understand correctly, Mama, you can get it off iTunes. If you have any children or any nieces and nephews, they know how to get it off iTunes, or even any nieces and nephews that can get it off the website for you and download it for you and give it to you that way. Can somebody please get onto your CD, get her an MP3, put it on a thumb drive for her, and then put it on a CD for her, all right? Because, you know, the truth of the matter is a lot of our elders really don't do those internets. So we gotta. Do you have any tapes? You guys got any tapes? I'm just joking.
All right. Yeah, CDs. We do have CDs. They're on the website as well, agtheband.com. But no, we don't have them. We don't have a cassette yet. I like those cassettes, though. It reminds you of a good day.
A very good day. Put a little tissue in the top and you can record over it.
Exactly right. Put a little pin in it if the tape starts running out, you know.
So I have a request over here to play. You guys have other music that was sent to us as well. I Don't See You at the Club. So I'm gonna go ahead and play I Don't See You at the Club. But before I play it, is there anything you want to tell us about this track?
I love this track. It's first single from our album Changing the Narrative, which is a free album. It's totally free. And the song is about, you know, people that come up to us and they be like, you know, I don't see y'all rocking in the club like you used to, and I tell them I'll see you at the bank. And so basically the whole theory of the song is about the fact that there's a lot of deep things that's going on in life, and even if you don't see me in the club, we're still doing things that's extremely important and meaningful, and you just gotta sort of get used to that side of life as well. So that's what the song is about.
So I would like to dedicate this song to everybody who Speech, you're not the only one. I recently went out this past weekend for a relative's birthday, but prior to that, people haven't seen me and they're like, Tayla, where you at? Minding my business, being mindful of what's going on in the rest of the world. And so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to play I Don't See You at the Club, Arrested Development. We currently have Speech on the line. If you have any questions, comments, if you miss them, you wondering where you be at, where y'all at, 617-282-0062, Big City 101.3 FM, Waking Up with Tayla Andre, Speech on the line, Arrested Development, I Don't See You at the Club.
Are y'all even still doing anything? Because I don't hear y'all, see y'all in these streets.
We always up in the streets. That's where we be at. We be in the streets.
Nah. I mean, like, yo, is anybody feeling y'all?
Well, I think so. If they're smart. I'll be knowing what to say to y'all. Got the pear trees faking like a dogwood. The thunderstorms in the springtime, it's all good. And rappers killing it in the club, it can't be bragged now. Now Black Lives just had to die to get a flag down. And my rap is up the map with Southside Atlanta. Was just a Selma 50 years marching Alabama. Was just a Columbus, Ohio teaching little kids. South by Southwest and Austin teaching sampling. And gynecologists, I do a lot of interviews. And I'm making some nice figures like a gym or two. And like Sandra playing, my band be changing lanes without a signal at all. Now you want us to hang? You know some things are substantial, whether we're not financial. And playing us will put other stuff way up on the mantle. So don't try to adjust your radio to change the channel. We're taking down the glittery lights and just light a candle. Come on. He said, I don't see you at the club. I said, I don't see you at the bank. People gotta live their life and do their thing. Let me live, let me breathe, let me be me. He said, I don't see you at the club. I said, I don't see you at the bank. People gotta live their life and do their thing. Let me live, let me breathe, let me be me. He said, I don't see you at the club. I said, I don't see you at the bank. People gotta live their life and do their thing. Let me live, let me breathe, let me be me. Let me live, let me breathe, let me be me. Let me live, let me breathe, let me be me. Let me live, let me breathe, let me be me.
Is anybody checking for Arrested Development?
Yeah, I'm seeing marriages dying just like miscarriages. We've been at it 20 years, changing the narrative. Father to my 2 kids, plus to add to my parenting. We took on a teen in a desperate need of a family. He was jacking cars and some other type of insanity. Playing the role that media says is his humanity. Blacks is getting smoked with police taking the toke. They hate it when we do stand up, and yet they like a joke. The people losing hope to where most of them don't vote. If rappers turn into trap and dope, really be dope. I'm trying not to become someone I don't know. Look into a mirror, is it friend or is it foe? Or is it both? Should I swim or should I float? Should I blend in within the scene that fits me both? Should I live life, try to fight what I know is in my real life starts after the show. He said, I don't see you at the club. I said, I don't see you at the bank. People gotta live their life and do their thing. Let me live, let me breathe, let me be me. He said, I don't see you at the club. I said, I don't see you at the bank. People gotta live their life and do their thing. Let me live, let me breathe, let me be me. Let me live, let me breathe, let me be me. Let me live, let me breathe, let me be me. Let me live, let me breathe, let me be me. Finally consoling from years of mine that was stolen. A sea of creativity coming just like an ocean. I'm falling in love with music as if I drank a potion. My rhyming and my producing has never been more potent. I've overcome my challenge and life has been more imbalanced. The people want to judge me on everything but my talent. They saying that I'm old like it's something I can't control. Aging is part of the package deal of having a soul. And what do you know? All you got to do is play the role of living life and just breathing. Lies start to receive things you start to believe in. Perspectives that you're seeing, regardless of your hue, it's just common to human beings. They tell me that youth and strength is wasted on the young, and that everything that you have been has been wasted on some fun. But I believe that I can have fun until I'm deceased. Just please play the song in the clubs and in the streets. I'm out.
Big City 101.3 FM, waking up with Tayla Andre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. We currently have Speech of Arrested Development on the line. We were just playing I Don't See You in the Club. Well, I don't see you at the bank. Thank you, Speech. Thank you. So first and foremost, you guys were conscious before conscious was really even a word, before it was a thing in our community. You guys were conscious when it seemed like our whole community was conscious. A lot has changed since then. A lot of music has changed since then. Our youth them has changed since then. I want to get your perspective on the alteration of music over the years and what that has done to our children, what that has done to our youth, and, you know, ultimately what that has done to our population of those under the age of 30 today. The lack of consciousness, the lack of self-awareness, the lack of self-respect. Can you speak on those things?
Yeah, I mean, so I think it was Hitler. It's been accredited to a lot of different people, but somebody, like whether it was Adolf Hitler, he said, if you could get a country youth scene or music, then you could get the country. And so when the music changes and when the subject matter of the music changes from talking about diverse issues and speaking about real things that are happening in life that relate to everybody, then the whole moral structure of the society changes, the whole world view of the society changes, and that's what we're facing right now. I mean, I turn on the radio because I'm a lover of hip hop music, and I turn on the radio, and within, if I'm turning on hip hop at least in particular, within about, I'd say 60 seconds, I'm gonna hear some of the most vile, like straightforward stuff that's ever coming out, and I can do that song after song. It doesn't matter when I turn it on, and so the music is being targeted to young kids all the way to adults with themes that are very narrow-minded. It's not a lot of diversity of thought going on. So I think it's very, very sad. And it does reflect in everything from our prison to jail, schools to jail systems, and realities to our crime statistics and all of the various things that we hear about on the news, it reflects. You know, it has a huge role in all of these things. And so I addressed it even in that song, I Don't See at the Club, you know, where a young guy that is 22 right now is like a second son to me. And he was basically trapped in that cycle as well of just listening to all of this various music, feeling the frustrations of life that he feels, but then reacting in the wrong way, going out there and doing some things, you know, this young man in particular, you know, jacking people and at gunpoint and stuff, and he's doing time right now. But the point is that people are definitely going on serious life detours because of the worldview that they have and the view of life that they have. So it's definitely having a huge effect on the youth and on people in general.
So I have to say that I am speechless because I was unaware of that quote that you said from Hitler. Could you repeat that for me one more time?
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing, but it's basically to say if you could get control of the youth culture of a country, then you could get control of that country. Because the youth culture and popular music and the things that people are being fed on a daily and consistent basis far outweighs even the things that a parent can teach. And parents know this. I'm a parent of 2 children and sort of 3, as I was just explaining. And I can teach my children, but the fact is, the things that they're going to hear out in culture is still going to be far more consistent than the things that we're going to be able to teach them, and especially as they get older and older. And now in this day and age, because of the music being so perverse, it starts at a young age where they're hearing stuff that they really, when I was young, it was restricted to when I was adult, or I was maybe sneaking around and listening to stuff that I shouldn't have been listening to, but it wasn't on regular mainstream radio at the time, not when I was young.
Regular mainstream radio saying the most vile things that you could think of, and it's like nothing's edited. You have to say the F word for you to get an edit, and then even everything before and everything after. I was really surprised when that J. Cole song came out about him like masturbating and stuff. Like I was like, hold on, wait, we have to change the song. I have a 12-year-old son. I'm like, we have to change this, change it. A lot has changed. A lot has changed. So if you grasp the youth, you can then control them. You control society. How do we go back and reprogram and how do we control the new generation of youth?
That we've got to go back to teaching about self-determination, and that means that we determine our own route and our own road. And so for artists, I teach artists because my wife and I just opened the art school because I was tired of complaining about this issue, and we was like, well, instead of complaining, let's do something about it.
Okay.
So my wife and I started Victory Spot. It's victoryspot.org. It's our art school. It's an entertainment art school, and we teach children that you always have a choice as to what you're going to do. A lot of, especially hip hop artists, will say that, well, they train us to do this, and they put this thing out there. And the fact of the matter is, though, you as an individual have a choice. And what self-determination means is that we have to take it upon ourselves to resist those things and say, you know what, I'm not paying for no amount of money. Am I going to compromise my manhood or my womanhood or my values of what I'm about as a human being? Because that's more expensive than any amount of money that somebody can give you. Mm-hmm. And so that's one thing that we can do as far as artists, make a stand. And then those of us that are just listeners or people that enjoy hip hop or enjoy music, we need to start standing up and supporting the artists that are doing conscious hip hop and doing music that's just uplifting, whether it's conscious or it's just party music, but it's uplifting. It's not degrading or taken away from our people. We got to start supporting it. But then there's organizations out there too that are fighting to try to get corporations to be responsible to take their ads off of these radio stations that are playing this music that's defiling our children and ruining sort of the spirit of our children, to actually hold these corporations, these radio stations accountable. Say, well, you know, Walmart or Target, how can you advertise when the song right before or after your commercial is talking about shooting another brother down in the community and killing them or robbing them or selling crack to them, and you are selling, you know, the average, you know, whatever, big screen TV or what have you, you know, these things are happening and no one's holding you accountable. So there's organizations out there. I'm a little just waking up, so I'm forgetting the name of it right now. But it's on our website. You can keep it out. There's activists that I'm supporting as they work out there to try to change these realities as well. And so I think those are just some practical things that we all can remember, that we can control this ourselves.
We can control the narrative, but it feels as if we don't have that power. We don't have the funds. Where's the unity? Because I heard in the first song that we played that you mentioned, you know, Queen Latifah and unity, and, you know, how do we bring that back? Because once upon a time there was unity. We shut down a whole entire bus system with our unity. How can we bring that unity back so we can then control the narrative, control the music, control our youth, and reinstill that spirit of innocence into our children?
Unity is a choice. It's a decision. And you make that decision based on what you feel is the problems in this world today. And so a lot of our ancestors, from the civil rights movement to Reconstruction period to a lot of other periods, realized that there was serious racism that was keeping them from realizing the American dream and realizing their own human potential. And they decided to unite and to fight that. When we have police brutality, you see a lot of unity, even in our people today, when we will unite to fight that. But what we don't realize as an enemy is the complacency and the way that we've sort of just accepted this society as our own society. I'm not talking about not being American. We are born here, but I'm saying as far as a cultural standpoint and a Black history standpoint, we have a culture, we have a history that is unique from everyone else's history. And that's not to separate us from other people, but that's to realize that we have a specific journey that we're on, and we have to unite in order to make good on all of the great and amazing things that our ancestors put forward for us. We have to make good on those things. They died many times for us to have the freedoms we have today. But a lot of us today are so complacent with just fitting into society instead of realizing that we come from someplace and we're still on the way to going someplace. And that's where unity comes from. It's a decision based on the reality that you see. If you see yourself as trying to be quote unquote colorblind, then you won't have a reason for unity. But if you see that no Black people actually have a unique path that we're on and a unique struggle that we've been fighting since we've been here, then you see a need for unity. And so I speak about it all the time in my music. It's a definite need to be united as a people.
Absolutely. So we have a question. We do this thing where if people don't want to call in, they can't call in, or they don't have the number, they just want to contact me directly and remain anonymous. I want to give a shout out to Anonymous, TaylaAndre. If you want to send your questions, comments to Tayla Andre or Wake Up with Tayla Andre, I'll make sure that your question is asked or your comment is stated and your name will not be said. Again, TaylaAndre, or you can give us a call, 617-282-0062. So the question is, most of their tour dates are outside of the U.S. Are they receiving more love overseas than home? And how can we change that if so?
Yeah, we definitely get a lot more love overseas right now. Thank God from the very beginning of our career, we got a lot of love from overseas, but of course in the U.S. too. And that's when we had the major label supporting us. But also the laws were different to where in each city, just like yourself, you could play out to the world and you could really continue to play it and get people to listen to it. Nowadays, the laws have changed to where most of the program directors and people that are really passionate music lovers that are at radio stations, they can't even decide to play this. Those playlists are decided by some corporate office in some other state, owned by the company that owns most of the stations in those markets. And so, unfortunately, there's very few people making musical decisions for most of us. So when we hear stuff, it's the same stuff we can hear in any state. If you're driving state to state, which we do a lot when we tour, you're hearing the same songs every state you go to. It didn't used to be that way. There used to be stuff that people on the West Coast was rocking, or people on the East Coast was rocking in the South. And that's because music lovers in those regions was really pumping up stuff that they thought was incredible. That's not happening as much as it used to. So we're all sort of being fed the same stuff. And that's changed the entire culture.
Preach, preach, preach. Thank you. I wish we could stop, bring it back. Come rewind, because I need you to say that again.
Yeah, so you know, there was a law that was passed in 1996, and I'm forgetting the name of it right now. Like I said, it's early, please forgive me. But anyway, the point of that law was to allow monopolies to happen again, and it used to be stopped, but it's happening now to where one company like a Clear Channel or some others can come and buy up the radio station in the market, the newspaper in the market, the TV stations in that same market. Well, what happens is you got one company that controls the entire narrative. They're controlling the entire story. You can't really get another opinion, another story, unless you go on the internet and search for it. But the fact of the matter is, even though that's a beautiful thing, most people don't do that. Most people are not just that deep about music or entertainment or news. They just want to go someplace simple and try to understand what's going on. And so, unfortunately, it's the same push to everybody, or the same music, unfortunately, too, that's being pushed to everybody. And that's totally changed the narrative of what we're hearing and what we're thinking about.
Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your transparency. I hope everybody heard that. Everybody. So for those that are just now tuning in, Wake Up with Tayla Andre, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. We currently have speech of Arrested Development on the line. V from Tennessee, where you at? Tennessee, take me to another place. I have to do that because we got young folks that don't know. Arrested Development, ain't that a TV show? They don't know. No, it's a band. It's a group, and they were amazing in their prime, and they're coming back in their prime, and I hope that we can do everything that we can to make sure that their music is pushed just as much as this nonsense is pushed. We currently have a call on the line. If you wish to give us a call, you have questions, comments, 617-282-0062. Good rising, caller, you live.
Hi, good morning, Taylor.
Good rising,
baby. Because I know the gentleman had mentioned a lot of the music nowadays influencing, you know, the young people and stuff, and basically that nobody can really get a handle on these kids nowadays. And I personally think, I mean, yes, it might have a little bit to do with it, but I don't think that's the biggest problem. The biggest problem is society in a whole, whereas back in the days, you know, because I'm from back in the 70s, 80s, or whatever, our parents used to be able to, you know, discipline us in certain ways and do certain things without other people getting involved. And nowadays, the parents don't even have that right. And I think that's more of a case than even the music. A lot of people come from different areas as well. I mean, a lot of these rap songs, I do listen to some of them, and they are, a lot of them are provocative, but these people grow up in these areas, in these places that are ugly and nasty, and they're thinking about their experience. They're thinking about how they're raised and what's around them and what they see. Not everybody, you know, is able to grow up in a decent environment. So I think a lot of the times when these people are making this music and stuff, that seems to be flattening to a lot of people. There's just more people that's coming out and pretty much speaking out about their environment and how they're living and what they see and what they perceive life is, because they don't have the opportunity to be able to grow up in a different type of place. I mean, I know, you know, the gentleman who's speaking, I've heard his music and everything, but at the same time, I mean, you know, I don't know where he's from, but with his experience, one of someone per se that grew up in Chicago, who had to live in the projects, who had experienced some of these things.
I think that's a great point, baby. I love and appreciate you. I hope you have an awesome day today. Speech, you wanna touch on that? Because I think that's an awesome point. Some of this music that's coming out is from some of these kids that are hurt, and you're hearing this pain, you're hearing the suffering come through the music, rather than somebody that maybe came from a 2-parent household that really, you know, what are they gonna rap about? You know, my cereal got soggy. Like I understand what she's trying to say.
Yeah, of course, I do too. And the fact is that music has always been, I mean, since hip hop in particular began, sort of like the message talked about the struggles of people, and at the same time, it talked about, I mean, you had hip hop that was about stop the violence, self-destruction. We're headed towards self-destruction. There's one of them. You've had party songs, and you've had conscious music like Public Enemy, and you had all of that coexisting at the same time. My issue is not with any artist that tends to talk about his or her reality, whether it's rough or anything. But one of my issues is that, and it should be all of our issues, is that there's still appropriate music for appropriate ages. So not everything is for every age. There's young kids who can't and shouldn't digest that stuff. And so that needs to be addressed. And then there's also the fact that these huge corporations and these huge radio stations and video stations are allowing these subject matters of black men shooting one another, killing one another. And regardless if that's what the artist sees in their neighborhood, the fact that they're allowing that to be played 24 hours a day, constantly, every day, and you turn on to any other station with any other genre of music, and you don't see that same subject matter being forced and pumped into people's minds every single day. The other thing is, I would dare say that most people in the United States don't grow up where the levels of death and violence is the same as in Chicago. And so it's another situation too when you are forced to listen all day long to one narrative when everyone grows up with different narratives. And all of those narratives are legitimate. So I'm not suggesting that people that grow up in Chicago's narrative isn't legitimate. Mm-hmm. It is. But so is my narrative, and so is your narrative. All of these narratives need to be heard. And so when you start to say, well, why are they picking one particular narrative that's able to be heard over and over again? And that narrative is black people killing one another. Yeah. Black men disrespected black women. All of this stuff about materialism, when most of us are not in a situation where we can even be materialistic. But then it's talking about all this materialism, all of this stuff. These are themes that are being pumped into the radio constantly for us. And it's not being pumped on all the other genres of music. It's just really pretty much focused towards black community and urban music, I should say. And a lot of people that are outside of our community look at it as solely entertainment. And it is just entertainment for them. For us, it's not just entertainment. We are seeing in our community high amounts of homicide rates that are unusual to other communities. So I'm saying these things are not just entertainment for us. It's a very real situation, and we've got to look at that. And then one other thing I'll say is that you notice there's a script. If you really take notice, you'll notice that there's a script of what urban artists cannot say. They cannot talk about, for instance, date rape, or they cannot talk about Jews, or they cannot talk about just anything, because they will get pulled to the curb, and very powerful organizations will come at them and say, when Rick Ross said something about date rape, many powerful organizations came at him and talking about pulling his records off the shelf, so on and so forth. But no one makes that same argument when various rappers talked about killing one another. No types of argument. And when Beyonce does a record about, she didn't even mention the police actually, but when she makes a record like a Formation, the entire nation gets upset and starts to talk about whether she was referring to the Black Panthers or whether she was against the police. But yet, every day, 24 hours a day, you can turn on any urban radio station. You can hear music about a black man killing another black man, or a black man slapping another black woman, or calling her a B word or an H word, or this type of thing or that type of thing, and nobody says a peep. So I'm saying there is definitely a problem with the stuff we are being allowed to listen to under the guise of, well, that's what we see every day in our community. Well, that's not true, first of all. And even in the roughest communities, that's not all you see. You also see hardworking parents. You also see fathers that are there. You also see mothers that do care deeply about their children. Where are the songs that are about that? Why is it only about one thing? No one can tell me that that's the truth of life. Not all of life.
Preach, brother, preach. So, again, we had a caller on the line. Give us a call back, baby, 617-282-0062. To the other caller that was on hold, thank you for patiently waiting. I wish you didn't have to hang up, but 617-282-0062, good rise and call you live.
Good morning, Andre.
Hi, how are you?
Long time listener. I really appreciate the program that you bring to the forefront. reverse psychology with the way the artist saying that the industry control what you can say. It's reverse psychology, and we can't even see between the lines on that. And a lot of us, we hear the same thing over and over, and it's banging in our head. That's why I start to listen to CDs in my car from Obama right down to stuff that will teach you things. You know, I look at these guys that want to buy those new iPhones and the new Nike shoes. I'm thinking about buying stocks in those companies.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
That's how I look at it.
Yes,
they're looking
baby.
at buying these new cars, 20-inch rims. I'm looking for the companies that make these stuff to purchase their stock so I can
make money off of them making dumb decisions.
That's how I look at it. But if we look into ourselves as parents, I have 3 kids. One's in college and 2 little ones right now. It's all about what we teach. The music nowadays, I can't dance to it. Music was made for people to dance, for our soul to be free, floating across the room, you know. And to the artists, I think they should do remixes, update the beat, and bring those music back, because the words, man, I thought I was in a whole lot of place listening to the songs, the words, you know. It's awesome. And thank you so much for bringing. And the other day you have a lady on the station, I'm trying to find her name. She was talking about some special teachings for that you should use for your kids.
Ed Anime. It's Ed Anime. They do mail track on the African, ancient Africa and the history of ancient Africa. It's mail track, and it's Ed Anime. So if you look up ED Anime, ANIMIE, Ed Anime.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
I love and appreciate you, baby. I hope you have an awesome day today. Speech. I know that kind of was all over the place, but we do have a question from Periscope right now, and that question is whether or not you will run for political office ever.
I doubt it. I highly doubt it. No.
You know what? But it's people like you and mindsets that you have that we need running a city or running a town or sitting on the city council or being in the Senate. We need voices like yours.
I appreciate that. You know, I feel like
not me.
Really is in the music, you know, and I feel like hopefully I could be the soundtrack, or Arrested Development, I should say, could be the soundtrack for that senator or for that politician. And, you know, my belief on politics is tough. It's because the higher and higher up in politics that you get, the more influence you have, and therefore the more people you have to try to satisfy. And I think it's very tough. I respect politicians because they have a very tough job to try to maintain their moral standards and yet serve, you know, everybody else.
Me from Tennessee.
That they have to serve.
We got Tennessee on the line.
And for me, I love the music because I'm able to be straight up creative and straight up honest and really sort of focus on
good rising,
the things that I think people and myself need to hear. So yeah, but I appreciate the love. I appreciate that.
And we appreciate you. I really would like to see you run for office. I would really like to see what you could do with that mind state. I do have another question before I take some of these other questions. And caller, thank you for your patience. Please hold one moment. You guys, the Arrested Development, adtheband.com, you guys have a t-shirt, the nostalgic tee, and I'm trying to understand what it stands for. It has it looks like maybe a calendar with 2 people holding hands, and then horseshoes interlinked together, and then some dollars.
Yeah. That's a particular shirt that we created. It's on our website, and it's based on 3 of our biggest hits. The 2 people that's holding each other's hands is People Every Day. It's basically like a calendar, and it's people in it, and that's People Every Day. Mm-hmm. The horseshoes is a reference from our hit song Tennessee. And Early Therese says, "Speech, I challenge you to a game of horseshoes."
A game of horseshoes.
And so that's what the horseshoes are. And then the $2
is a reference from our song, one of our hits called Mr. Wendell. And Mr. Wendell talks about here, have $1. In fact, no, brother, man,
You have two.
And so on that t-shirt, we just sort of put in there in a creative way, like some of our hit songs and some of the things that we referenced in the songs, and see if people can guess what they were. So that's what that t-shirt is.
A game of horseshoes. I sure do remember that. And so I'm showing the people over here on Periscope. If you're currently on YouTube, I'll put in the link. If you're just listening in your car, please do not try and look it up. Remember, we do not text and drive. Somebody in front of you might want to stop. You might want to go and you just cause an accident. I will post it on the Wake Up with Tayla Andre page so you can see it. Again, that's People Every Day, a game of horseshoes, and here's $1 now, brother, have two. So I just want to thank you. We're coming to the top of the hour, and I appreciate this conversation. I appreciate where you have gone, where you have done. I do want to make mention to the fact that you had a TED Talk that was absolutely amazing. We haven't even be able to begin talking about that, but I did listen to your TED Talk, and speech, preach. And from what I understand, you do preach speech.
Well, I became a minister probably about, 15 years ago now. And the TED Talk was an amazing experience. And I got a chance to really share about the spirit and all of our spirit. And I think that that's so important in this day and age when people are sort of thinking a lot about money and about what others can do for them. And the spirit sometimes gets neglected. And to some extent, even religion and spirituality is something that's scoffed at today and has been deeply misrepresented by a lot of politicians and a lot of people in the political world. And so anyway, it's about the spirit and about how important it is to us to get through this life. And yes, I'm really proud of that talk, that talk.
So let me be a little devil's advocate for a moment. You are, from what it seems like from our conversation, you're pro-Black. You love Black people. You love what we do. You want us to unite. You want us to build businesses. You are pro-Black, but you're also a Christian. How do those two coincide for you? Because a lot of pro-Black, fist in the air, feel like Christianity was never made for us. The slave master made us believe in Christianity, and the reason why we're Christians today is because we got whooped into it. Like that's the rhetoric that you hear when you speak to that, those that are totally Black power. So how does that work, that dynamic work for you?
Well, first of all, pro-Black is definitely not anti-white. It doesn't equal the same thing. And then as far as Christianity is concerned,
I'm sorry, boo. I'm sorry. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on Mixcloud.
I'll just say that.
Or you can just listen on Periscope.
Christianity comes from the Middle East. It never was a white man's religion or anything like that. All people obviously are practicing Christianity throughout the world, whites, Blacks, Europeans, everybody, Africans. But it comes from the Middle East. Jesus was a Middle Eastern man, and he was a colored man. And so the idea that it comes from white people and so on and so forth is obviously just not true. Now, whether through slavery people misused it and misrepresented it and forced it upon some people, they did do that without a question. But I attribute the evil of the sins of the various slave masters and the country of America at that time using Christianity to oppress people. That's the sins of the people. That's not the sins of the religion. The religion is way prior to all of that stuff. It comes from the Middle East. It comes from colored people. So it's a totally different reality than what's been talked about from some of these pro-Black brothers and sisters.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that, because I know a lot of people had a lot of questions, and I'm glad you make that statement. Pro-Black doesn't mean anti-white. For those, last question, for those who have this idea that pro-Black is anti-white, how can you, or how have you been able to maintain your ability to be pro-Black while also, being more inclusionary and inclusive is the word that I meant, and just uniting? Like, how can you, for those that are listening, because this is a problem that a lot of people are having, is being able to have self-pride, but not having others feel disrespected by your self-pride.
Without a doubt. In fact, the only reason that I'm pro-Black is because there's been such a huge campaign of anti-Black for so long. If that had never happened, you know, race is a made-up concept. It's not something that was always there. People didn't used to look at Black and white. Blacks and whites, that whole term came up because of slavery and to justify the system of slavery. So the fact is that this whole anti-Black history that has been forced upon all of us, not just Black people, but white people too, they've had to learn about this hatred of Black people through the culture and through the various teachings and commercials and TV shows and laws in this country and throughout the world. And so we're just trying to reverse it. That's the reason that it's something called pro-Black or Black Lives Matter. It's making all lives matter a true statement. If people can lift up Black Lives Matter, it makes all lives matter a true statement.
Okay. All right. So we are coming to the top of the hour. I am going to end with us playing the last song that we have not played yet. But before we get into any music, Up featuring Toy Matthews, Arrested Development, we have Speech on the line. Is there anything that you would like to say closing out to our listeners, closing out to I'm sorry, I'm getting a question from Periscope here. Wish local stations could take control. All right, we'll go ahead and end with that question. How can local stations take control of what's being played on the radio so they have more diversity? Like you said earlier, the West Coast is playing what they wanted to hear. The East Coast is playing what they want to hear. And the South was playing something completely different. And now across the United States, you're hearing the same music over and over again. How can stations take control or take back control?
I would say go join Clear Air Wave Project. That's a movement that's fighting to get the negative music off the air at certain times of the day. And we can all join that movement and help support them as they move on that. And you also can go support your local stations that are either on the internet or that are not owned by some of the huge corporations. You can support them a lot more as well. And of course, any music that you love that has positive messages that you feel uplift you and inspire you, support that music, because those artists are really going against the grain in order to provide that music, knowing that a lot of times it's not going to sell as much because the distribution and the marketing is not nearly the same as if you were speaking about killing one another or disrespecting one another.
Thank you, Speech. Thank you. Would you be up to coming back on the show or coming back to Boston or get you guys here?
I appreciate all the calls and your questions. Awesome. Just great. I love it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. Periscope is dying, so we're gonna quickly get out of here. This is Up featuring Toy Matthews, Arrested Development, Speech on the line. If you missed any of today's conversation, please head over to mixcloud.com, TaylaAndre. Also, the video portion of the show will be posted on YouTube, TaylaAndre. I love you. I appreciate you. And I hope you guys have an awesome day today. After you hear Up featuring Toy Matthews of Arrested Development, you will also hear Out to the World, because I am in love with Out to the World. I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing day. Please go to adtheband.com for everything Arrested Development. Mwah. Hello. Thank you so much, Speech. I really do appreciate you. I needed to give a shout out to Nikki, because Nikki is the one who facilitated this conversation, this rising. So thank you so much. Thank you for waking up, because I know it is early. I know people are like, nah, I can't do it. So thank you so much. Have an amazing day. All right. Nikki, after this song is over, I'm going to go ahead and switch it off. Reiterate the fact that was Up by Arrested Development, and then we're going to go ahead and play Out to the World. I'm really, if anything, I'm more than any of the three. And then Nikki, thank you, Nikki. Nikki Curry, my publicist. You guys, please. Amazing. If you need representation, she's not cheap, but she is good. Oh yes, big from Tennessee. I was waiting for you to call. Tennessee. My little Harlem Shake. I love you. I appreciate you. My phone is dying. I have like 4% on my phone. So if you guys cut off, it's simply because the phone is dead. He was awesome. Speech was absolutely amazing. You came late. It's perfectly fine. I still shouted you out nonetheless. Listen to the show on Mixcloud, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. YouTube, love and appreciate you. Thank you to all of the viewers. I noticed that some of you are very faithful viewers. You watch every single day, and I want to let you guys know that I appreciate that. I really do. So for me, it's not, I just want people to wake up. I want people not to wake up because it's 6 a.m., 5 a.m. I want people to wake up because we are mentally brain dead. We are zombies right now. So if you know somebody who might benefit from the show, please feel free to share anything from my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter. Share anything from the show. Mixcloud, over 460 shows. Anything that you want to share, it's not mine. It's me giving it to you guys. So I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have an amazing day today. Enjoy the music. Enjoy the show. Mwah.